welcome to the Male Engineer, and today we've got a fairly simple one actually for me, just stamping and a bit of glitter. This outfit matching mani, which I did for cousin Heather's recent wedding, and I was really super busy. In fact, I've been super busy throughout, so too busy to film this in real time, but I thought that what we could do is show you how to do it on pops. So here is all the stuff that I used to create this look. For my base colours, I just picked out key colours from the dress, being green and peach, and I used the gel bottle ink V102, which is this lovely kind of pale sage green colour, and my peach is Madam Glam No Taboo, which you can see here. And these actually come out because of the matte top coat, which is Miss You, best matte top coat ever. These come out a little bit paler, which is good for me because it this is like really quite neon peach, quite bright, and it toned it down just a little bit. And please excuse having this is the worst time of year for me with my Pomfolix eczema, so I'm having a really bad breakout just on that finger there. Anyway, less about me, more about the stampies. This is CJS 05, which is Clear Jelly Stamper, and this is a layering plate. And for this look, I actually used this row here, these 1, 2, 3 images for my roses, and this row here, these 1, 2, 3 for the flowers on the middle finger, which you can see there. If I just bring my finger up there, that's a bit better. And the leaves I'm using are a mixture of this larger cluster, just the 2 of them, and the smaller cluster on the other fingers. And basically what you do is you just layer up the various elements. Now, there's no hard and fast rule to this. Generally, you would say that you would work from dark to light, being that, see, this is like a highlight, and the highlight obviously tends to be a paler colour, where the light is shining on the rose and deepening into the recesses of the rose into a dark colour. But I've done loads of stamping with this particular plate. It's super popular because it's one of the best plates I've ever bought. Really love the Clear Jelly Stamper stuff, and it's so versatile. And I've gone from light to dark as well, and you know, you just really want to kind of think of the colours that you're going to use and really play around with this, and you can get some wonderful results. So in this case, and you're going to think, what, with some of the colour combinations here, and here's a pop just to show you in a bit more detail. Yes, that's a bright orange. So on mine, I've gone dark to light on all of my roses, and I have used, with green, bright orange. Yeah, who'd have thunk it? And look, it's even more bright orange in there, but it kind of softens when you put it over a kind of paler base, and you need that kind of contrast. So you can see it here. And the great part about this, the reason I picked this colour, is because the colour that's going on top of this needs to be softened as well. And Zilda can be very like neon peach, but look at her there, she looks like a nice soft peach, and that's because I've put her over this darker base, which has really like toned her down. If I had gone light to dark and put Zilda over a white base, I've actually seen this with my own eyes, and it's not pretty. Base colour, Colour Alike, be a Juicy Tangerine, and then I've used Esmaltes Da Kelly Zilda over the top. And then for my highlight, I've just basically used white polish. The only one that's any different is this little one here. On my pinky, I have actually these 3 images. One thing I will say about this plate, I don't know if I've just got a dodgy plate, but this one in this corner is a bugger. This will not pick up in its entirety. There's always a void, whether it's scraped perfectly or not. And I've tried everything that I can with this, so this is my only criticism of these plates. Whether I've got a dodgy one, I don't know. But anyway, back to the program. So this is the only one that's different. All the rest go orange, peach, and then white, which is the Clear Jelly Stamper white. With this one, I've actually gone orange, peach, and then I felt like the white was a bit too glaring. So I actually used Esmaltes Da Kelly Doguito. After knocking everything over, let me show you the leaves. And you're going to think that I'm nuts, but as you can see, it works. Yes, Icaro, which is actually like a kind of powdery aqua, kind of bluey aqua colour. Can you see there? But somehow it just works gorgeous with Moyou London, and this is a Croco Spark over the top for the highlight on the leaves. It just works. I simply didn't have a pale green cream colour, and I thought, sod it, let's try it. And what do you know? The Clear Jelly Stamper plates do not like thicker polishes, so that's unfortunate if almost your entire collection of stamping polishes are the super thick Esmaltes Da Kelly. They work generally fine with Clear Jelly Stamping own brand and other brands that I've got, but sometimes like you'll struggle to pick them up with any kind of stamper. Now I have actually come across something to overcome this, and that is this. This one here is the decal head, this one here is your standard head, and if you look, it's one of those things that you can just feel. See, there's much more resistance on this one, so I find that makes it a bit more kind of reliable to pick up. And any of you out there who've been having problems with getting Clear Jelly Stampers to pick up, because I know that you really require a very light touch, and it's a very precise kind of quick loose roll and flick of the wrist, which can be really hard to get the knack of. So any of you who've been struggling with the standard head, maybe try and get the decal head, and you'll find that you can be a lot more kind of rough and robust with it. And one other thing I should mention, my glittery finger is the incredibly versatile and wonderful Angel Magpie glitter, which I've just kind of sugared over a base of Madam Glam No Taboo. I left the second coat wet and then sprinkled over my glitter and then double cured and then encapsulated, but you could just leave it sugared if you can get away with having that kind of scratchy kind of finish. So for the look, you basically want to start from the bottom and work your way up. So I'm starting with the highlight colour of the leaves, which you actually put on as a base, and there you can see I've got a tiny little void in there, but since it's just for a pop, I'm not going to worry about that too much. And you basically want to just look down the barrel, and I think since this is a downwards kind of leaf, I'll pop that in this corner here, if you can see there, and that's it. So just imagine that I picked that up perfectly, which I didn't do because there was chin wagging and not really paying attention. So that's your base of your leaf, and I'll put the other one on a bit further up so you can see one of each style, and there you go, picks up real nice. And I was actually pushing down much harder than I would normally do with a Clear Jelly Stamper with this decal in head, because you can just be really quite cavalier with it. So this one I think I'll pop in this corner, if you can see there. And apologies if I do any of this ham-fisted. I'm just trying to do it so that like you can see it better than I can. This is not going to be my most perfect work. So, and the great thing about layering is you can do this like on all of your fingers. Do like all your fingers that you're going to stamp, do your base in the same colour, and then that gets that colour out of the way. And then by the time you come to put your next layer on, it's dried off so you won't smudge it. So next up, I'm going in with the Moyou Croco Spark, And I'll do the big leaf first because that was the first one that I stamped, and hopefully it's had enough time to dry, and you can see that it picks up quite nicely there. Just take away any excess. And then this is the kind of clever part, which is going to be quite difficult for me because I'm looking at this through a viewfinder. So slowly touching down. Is it in the right place? Yeah, that's not too bad. It's a little bit wonky, but you get the idea. And then we'll go for the other set of leaves. And pick that up there. And again, just let's make sure that you can see it. Oh, I accidentally put down before I meant to. But see, even a little mistake like that and it can still look pretty cool. So let's have a go of this flower here. And I find it's generally easier to swipe to the edge and swipe quite lightly as well, so that you don't end up with like voids and stuff. And I'm just going to pop this one on here. You couldn't see that. So it's worth noting at this point what your orientation is. And I can see that I've put that on the nail kind of that way round, yeah? And then that just makes it easier to do like the lineup on the rest of your elements. So next up we've got the peach colour, and can you see how bright that is? So imagine if you had this over like a light colour, it would just look a bit trashy. So there we go, I've got that outline there, and I'm going to want to make sure that it's the same orientation. Yep, that's it there. So if I can show you, if you can see, I bloody can't. And it goes around about there. And there we go, it's that easy. And then you simply get your white polish, and it's this little nub in here. And it just gives the flower a little bit of dimension. There it is. And then let's just get that in the middle. If you can see there. We just whack it in there. And there you go. There's your first one done. So let's do the rose, and I'll swipe out towards the edge. And there's my base. Whenever I say that word, it always makes me think of that Greg Wallace Bury biscuit base. So this one I'm gonna put kind of that way. I can't see anything. That way. Can you see? I can't see. I can't see shit. Hope it doesn't look like craps. Ah, it's okay. And next up we go for the second part of the image. And again, I've lined my plate up so that as I pick it up there, that's kind of how it's going to go over this image here. And this is going to be the tricky part of me trying to see through my lamp with my X-ray eyes and make sure that you can see it as well. And don't worry too much about it being like perfect and stuff. If you've got a little bit of like overlap or underlap or whatever, it doesn't actually matter. And then finally with the weight, which is going to be the easiest one to get on because all of the clear jelly stamper polishes work real nice with the... Sorry about that, I just had to kind of like line it up off screen a bit. So then you smoosh that on, boom, job done. How cute is that? And they look so nice. I mean, I know that I've done quite a bit of freehand rose artwork on my Instagram at The Nail Engineer. So I can do this stuff like by myself with just a little brush and a shit load of different acrylic paints. But this is a really, really nice way to get like a homogeneous design and something that can be like easily replicated. So yeah, I really do love these plates. I would just definitely recommend that if you're newish to stamping and you're thinking of investing in the clear jelly stamper plates, get some of their polishes too. They're based in Canada, so they're not subject to the same kind of restrictions that you get from the American companies like Bundle Monster and stuff, where they can't actually send you polishes, regular polishes. I had no problems with this whatsoever, and their polishes are good, and I really actually like the way that they're in these little diddy bottles, because as you'll know, if you've got a huge collection like I've got, if you don't use it, they can go gloopy, and you can use thinners, but then they're never the same. So I actually find when it comes to stamping polish, it's better, unless you're doing a shed load of stamping, it's better to have a smaller bottle, and that way you're going to have like less waste. Anywho, I do hope that you enjoyed this look, this mani, as much as I enjoyed making it. It was tons of fun to do. Just a shame that I had to do it late at night. And oh look, I've got stamping polish on myself. If that happens, acetone free, little wipe, gone. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.